What's up, guys? What's going on? I'm Paul. This is Pauline Theology's Daily Devotional. Glad you're back. Another start of the week. And we are about to dive deep into the scriptures, man. We've been going through the book of John. It has been an insight to who Jesus is. We saw Jesus disclose that he is the water from which you can drink from, and the Spirit will just overflow abundantly in you. And then we've seen the response of the crowds to that. And today we're going to see the response of some other folks. So if you haven't yet read, go ahead and check out John chapter 7, 45 through 52. And then we will discuss the 4 questions. If you have already read, then let's not wait any longer. Let's go ahead and see what's going down. Okay. So the first question is this: what's happened in the scriptures, man? What is John written? What is he saying? What occurred in the narrative? And what happened is now we've got the guards. We read earlier about some people trying to grab a hold of Jesus, and trying to take him, and that God has the infinite sovereignty over these things, where no one is able to lay a hand on him because it ain't his time yet. And we discussed earlier too about what that time means. This is his glorification. The hour that comes is his time for his death on the cross and his resurrection, when he will be shamed for our honor and then raised because of the honor he deserves, because he truly was who he said he was. And so we are, we are in this discussion as we see that these guards can't do nothing. They can't do nothing. They can't grab them. And now we're going to find out the reason why. And the reason why is because they said, man, ain't nobody has ever spoken like this dude. Like, Jesus' words have power. I think that's what we talked about in the last episode. We said that God's words have power because it's affecting the crowds, how they're having all of these opinions and decisions about who Jesus is. And now we see that maybe in all of that chaos that these temple guards weren't able to apprehend Jesus because of that. And then not only that, but maybe they're torn in their own hearts for what this man has spoken, because Jesus' words have power, man. Now the Pharisees and the high priests, and they come and they say, "Are you deceived? Have they deceived you?" It's like they say that this whoever knows the law ain't gonna listen to this guy, claiming they have a knowledge or an insight that is greater than Jesus. Matter of fact, greater than anybody around, because they're belittling these guards because of their thoughts about what Jesus is saying. And then furthermore, they're saying that the crowd is cursed because they don't understand the law or know the law. They haven't studied and found and sat up under teaching in the law of Moses to be able to discern it properly. So they don't even understand things, the things of holiness, the things of God. And so they're saying only they can comprehend or discern if this man Jesus is correct. And to them, he must die. And so everybody else is cursed because they don't understand it. And he's like, are you deceived too? And the difference between the crowds and these guards is that these guards are actually Levites who serve in the temple as because the Levite family is a lineage who served the temple as priests and as all of these temple guards, obviously, because that's what they're doing as well. But all of these different roles in the temple, as they didn't receive land in the covenant, but they received a responsibility, which was to teach and to guide the other people in the family of God as the Levite, the priestly tribe. And so these aren't just normal people, but they are a lineage of people who serve in the temple. And so they have some learned understanding of the law. And so he's like, and you guys are deceived too? But then one out of them is showing that there is, because they say, ain't nobody in the as a Pharisee or ain't nobody in the high priest believe in this Jesus. We don't understand. We don't not understand, but we don't trust or believe or have faith in this Jesus. We don't think that he's doing anything but claiming to be God. And so one out of them, Nicodemus, the one that went to Jesus earlier, who tried to shame him, we talked about in a discourse, and Jesus just showed him his wisdom and tried to open his eyes to spiritual things. Well, Nicodemus, I guess, has been in his heart stirring some things that is spoken, because in a sense, he's defending Jesus, but truly, I think probably in his heart, and we're going to see later on that Nicodemus actually becomes a believer. Spoiler alert. But we say that it's stirring in his heart, and he's actually trying maybe to defend Jesus, but he puts it in such a way that he is just trying to make a statement about the law being neutral in this situation, because he says, doesn't the law allow us to judge somebody on his words and what he is doing before we make any decisions? And so Nicodemus is like, hey, let's listen to him. We've got to at least hear him out to make a judgment, because up until now, it's like they have just been dismissing Jesus. They have been putting him, casting him aside because of one word that, or one action that he did. And then two words that he said, as my Father. But the Pharisees and the high priests, they actually kind of rebuke Nicodemus, and they're like, "Are you from Galilee too? What? Why are you defending this dude?" Knowing that he's not, it's like whenever you talk, like, "Oh, you must be from there too, then, man, huh? That's why you talking noise. That's why you're trying to stand on his side." But that is just, it's funny though. You see how the people in those days react and do the same things that we do today, ain't it? Where whenever something happens that they say something against what we believe, without even giving a hearing, we want to dismiss them and then even assassinate their character. Because they have, I guess, some prejudice against people of Galilee in a way, because that's where Jesus is from, and they say, see that no prophet comes out of Galilee, even though it's not true. They just don't like them people. And so now they want to associate Nicodemus with them. Ain't that the way that we do today? Ain't that the way that we talk about people? If they say something against us, we don't try and confront the actual words that they say. Like with Nicodemus, they didn't confront the words that he actually said, saying, "Oh, the law does say," or "the law doesn't say that we need to listen or give a hearing out." But what they do is assassinate his character. Anyway, what is this scripture saying about God? Well, it says that God's words have power. I mean, the things that he's saying causing confusion and some some tension in the hearts of even some of the highest of the learned of the law and Nicodemus, from the crowds to the middlings, which is the guards who are Levites yet don't have the supreme knowledge of the law. I put supreme in drop quotes. And then even now to those who do, those who Nicodemus is part of the Pharisees and the high priest, is he's being torn by the words that Jesus is saying. God's words have power, man. God's words move. So in application, not jumping to it so soon, it's just, man, allow people to hear the words of Jesus. And sometimes we try and do so much and manipulate the situation and try and be so smooth with whatever we do. Just let them hear the words of Jesus. What does this say about man? Well, it says that we have to make a response. We have a decision to make for this, because Nicodemus here, man, he speaks up for Jesus in the midst of a people that want to kill Jesus. See, that's tough for Nicodemus to do. He's putting himself on the line. And we see that because they, like I said, they respond in a way that is assassinating or detrimental to his character, making fun of him, poking fun of him, having criticism of him. But Nicodemus stands up and says something because of this tension of Jesus' words in his heart. And that's what's going to happen, man. For mankind, for us, we have to make a response. We have to take a step when we hear the words of Jesus. But also, man, I think it comes back again to that recognition. Is like, how are we responding to things that people say to us whenever they are making some kind of uh, rebuke or correction? Are we assassinating their character because we don't want to hear it, or are we actually listening to the words that they say and then making a decision or a judgment based upon those words? And so, for application, man, again, the first thing I want to say is let people hear the words of Jesus. Let people hear the words of Jesus, because Jesus' words have power. God's words have power. But second, man, is look at our life and the relationships that we have with people and our response to what they have to say to us. What's going on? Are we listening to better grow in our life? Because God is going to use the Holy Spirit through the people around us to help us to grow into the people of Christ. We read that through Ephesians. If you haven't checked it out, man, go and check out that daily devotional, man. But it talks about the church growing up into Jesus, who is the head, being the image of him. And so he does that through rebuke, correction, and discipline. How are we responding to that? How do we respond to that? Hey, I appreciate you guys for listening, man. And I will see you in the next episode.